Kim Prince. We finally meet. I'm
We finally meet.
excited to chat. So, welcome. How's your day going? Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So you said you're in Arizona, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it's a little late.
Correct.
So I like that. You're
Yeah,
a
it's
night owl.
later where you're at, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
for me, I work till 4 in the morning, so it's not a
yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Kim
Interesting.
Prince founded the esteemed Meet the Cannabis Press, events organization which brings experts together to explore the journalistic challenges faced in the cannabis press coverage industry.
Yes.
So, first and foremost, how did you get started? Why were you pulled towards the cannabis industry specifically?
Um, well, they say follow what you love. And I'd
Right.
always known that cannabis was a wonderful plant.
Mm.
And I was bored in my career. I'd had a great career in tech. And then I kind of stepped away from, I have a
Mm.
journalism degree, stepped away from marketing communications in tech. And then I missed it so much. So I got back into PR because I missed my PR people. I missed
Right.
that industry, and I started serving my community. I had like some great clients, but I was very bored, and I wanted to think big again. So when I found out cannabis was happening, I thought, well, that's really interesting. So I just followed my heart and went to Vegas, first MJBizCon in 2014, and I
Mm.
walked away with my first client, and we've never really looked back.
Very cool. How do you feel like the journalism industry or the PR industry has evolved over the years? Because it's a very different beast today than it was just yesterday.
It's so challenging. It's, you know, in emerging industries, there's always a lot of fallout.
Mm.
So, take for instance, 3 years ago, there were, gosh, probably 15 to 20 dedicated outlets just for cannabis. Print media, digital media, podcasts, they were all happening. And then slowly over time, as the industry's matured, only a handful of those outlets will survive and are surviving. So
Right.
some of the greats have gone down. Some of the ones we didn't expect are still here.
Mhm.
So it's been very challenging. And I have to give a shout out to the journalists that cover cannabis because it's hard. It's a hard gig right now. It's a hard gig for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's quickly emerging
Yes.
and there's a certain stigma behind the industry. So can you tell me how that
Yes.
affects your work, compared
Yes.
to the more conventional sorts of PR and journalism?
Yes. Yes. We slice and dice media in a variety of ways, but one is, and you're a PR guy, so you get it. One way is, well, we look at media local, regional, national, international. So it's kind of how we slice it geographically. But then for cannabis, we have like cannabis and then mainstream. And then we have B2B and B2C. And then within mainstream, there's a lot of different verticals. So it really depends. I sometimes forget there is a stigma, but nearly every type of outlet is covering it. But what I've been seeing a lot more, Michael, is like a lot more of the anti cannabis people. They're
Mm.
making a lot of noise. So I encourage our clients to really be
Who
upfront,
who are the
go, mhm.
anti-cannabis people? Sorry to cut you off, Kim.
Yeah, that's okay.
Like,
Um,
and not, you don't have to
y-
necessarily call specific people out. I'm curious about
yes,
like what kind of demographics of people or what kind of industries are still giving you a hard time.
it's a lot of the reefer madness. Cannabis causes schizophrenia. Cannabis causes, children to, jump off bridges or something. It's a
Right.
lot of hysteria still amongst some of these groups, but they're very vocal. So we've worked with physicians, we've worked with attorneys, we've worked with, Harvard grads, which we love. I love all these people. And most of them acknowledge that cannabis is a wonderful alternative for where maybe Western medicine isn't really helping.
Mm.
There's a lot of medicinal and
Right.
adult use purposes for the plant. So the anti people, and I don't want to get too wound up here, but
Yeah. But then alcohol is
yeah,
legalized, which causes so
yes,
much,
exactly.
you
So much
know, listen,
disruption.
I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily like a huge cannabis guy, but at
Yes.
the same time, it's like I'm able to kind
Yes.
of identify how it feels a
Yes.
little less harmful than something like
Yes.
alcohol.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it. That's exactly
Yeah,
it.
and it's
So,
got real serious therapeutic effects and it's got
yes, it
medicinal
does.
effects. I mean, alcohol is not,
Correct.
making people's lives better, you know. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
why do you think that is?
exactly.
Is it because of the war on drugs and kind of how it kind of seeped into socially into our culture and then now it just has a
Yes.
bad stigma?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I like to tell the story. I live in a small town in Arizona, and when cannabis first became legal here, I put it we the allotment max allotment was 2 ounces. So I took a mason jar and I put 2 ounces of cannabis in there, and I stuck it on the front desk where where people who walk by my business window could see it. And it was very interesting because I got a lot of knocks on my door from little old ladies who wanted to know more. The mayor, very gracious in our town, wanted to know more. So I really feel like I love the plant, but I'm not a typical stoner. So I
Right.
just think that having a great dialogue about it really helps to open doors. And,
Yeah, I agree. I
yeah,
mean,
so that's,
I don't smoke pot either. I mean, but like
yeah,
I don't have
yeah,
anything against it and
right.
common sense should be enough to navigate these conversations
That's
where
it. It's,
it's
yes,
like,
yes.
I'm not hunting people down who smoke it, you know? Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. This is a thing, it's become highly politicized, and it's just kind of crazy, it's overregulated, overtaxed.
Right.
It's very interesting. Even the social equity programs, they've become so convoluted. There's just everybody, it's a very interesting time in the industry right now.
Yeah, and I imagine you're the person for I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just making an
Yeah.
assumption here. I imagine you might hold the view that the best way to fight this industry is to legalize it, right?
Yeah,
The best way to defeat the war on drugs is to make it legal for
I
the
would
most
hope
part.
so. I would hope so. The businesses that we work with, it's really challenging because there's a tax code called 280E, so there's a huge tax burden
Right.
for these operators. It's a really challenging industry, and it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but it's very
Yeah.
true.
So,
It's
Kim, I
very
mean,
true.
where do you see the industry heading in the next 5 years? And more specifically, where do you see your position in it?
Well, it's very interesting. Everyone's talking about rescheduling, which would take it from a Schedule One drug,
Mm.
which basically has no societal or medicinal value. It's akin to maybe a heroin or something like that. They're talking about rescheduling. Some people are saying it'll be a reschedule to Schedule 3. So what's happened, in my opinion, Michael, is because it's just kind of floated out there. When I first got in the industry in 2014, people were very excited. There was a lot of money coming in this industry, a lot of investment opportunities for the industry, but it's just kind of like become stagnant in a certain sort of way in terms of moving
Mm.
forward with legalization. So, should rescheduling happen? Should federal legalization happen? It will open up the industry again. It will bring investment money in, and it will help it to become, you know, there's not a lot of research that's been done in cannabis because you can't do research on a Schedule One drug. So the
Mm.
future does look bright, but it's just got to get through these growing pains very much before anything can happen. And it's very interesting. Like I said, like I feel the burden of these plant touching operators, this 280E. Uh, but it's kind of I want to be really positive here, but every state has their own program right now. So for it to be federally legal, it will take a lot of logistics and
Right.
figuring out what
It's
that's going
going
to look like.
through a well-oiled relic of a bureaucratic system, and
That's exactly it.
these wrenches move very, very slowly.
Yes,
Right.
correct.
What do you think a
Correct.
catalyst for something like this might be? Because, what do you think would cause the sort of change needed to kind of open this up? I mean, is it just more electing the right people? Is it just, Does it really matter who's in office at the top, the upper echelons? I mean,
Hmm.
currently it's President Trump, and I don't
Hmm.
know if he's a very
Hmm.
pro cannabis kind of guy, but
Hmm.
would another president, in theory, make that big
They all
difference?
kind of talk about it, and then nothing seems to really happen.
Right.
With Trump, there was discussion recently that he would consider rescheduling. A lot of people in the industry felt it would happen very quickly. It hasn't happened. It's been about a month since that conversation took place. I spoke with, I work with people who are very smart, and I just absorb what they tell me. I spoke with someone that I very much respect who understands politics, and they suggested that it would happen, but it would happen by the end of the year. And the rescheduling might happen during a time when there's holiday stuff and everybody's busy doing things. So it wouldn't be a big deal when rescheduling happened. I've heard people say it's imminent, it's going to happen any moment. I wrote a reporter with a quote for a client. I'm like, here's a quote. Should it move forward? Some people say it's imminent. And that reporter shot right back at me and said, what do you mean imminent? So it's kind of divisive right now, but we are
Mm,
prepared. Should it be rescheduled, that we're prepared to discuss it with the media, and our clients are prepared.
interesting. Now, what sort of skill sets do you find being a PR agent in the cannabis industry differs from a typical one? Like, would you say that there's a certain set of personality types or attributes or
Yes.
focuses that are different in this industry compared to others?
Gosh, Michael, I
Is that
don't
even a
really know
weird
how to
question?
answer. No, because it's like, do I tell you the truth, or do I like spin it
Oh,
because
I,
I'm a
I
PR
don't even
person?
know that I'm poking. I don't even know who I'm poking here. Like, I don't even know
No,
if it's like a bad
what
question to
it
ask,
is,
but
cannabis PR is really hard. I would just say that it's very hard right now.
mm,
Because the media is shrinking. Like I said, we had outlets that went from publishing monthly to now they're publishing quarterly. So for your PR person, that took 12 opportunities to get our client on the cover, down to 4 opportunities to
for
get our
right.
client on the cover. Um, so
But
I
it's
think,
also as
mhm,
much as it's heavily regulated, it
yeah,
clearly is growing. I mean, there are certain
yes,
places that I walk by
yes,
and there's a cannabis shop at every single stop.
yes. And
Um,
that won't always be the case. There's so much oversaturation of, there's two types of markets. One is excuse me, one is an open market where they don't have, it's an unlimited license state, like certain states where there's no cap on the amount of licenses. Arizona, there's a cap on the amount of licenses. So we have about I think 170 licenses, and without certain
that's it.
political maneuverings, there won't be more. Yeah.
Right. What about state of Florida? Just curiosity.
Florida is an interesting place. They didn't pass adult use. What was that, back in maybe a year ago? They didn't pass adult use. So from what I understand, a lot of those stores are going to try to go to like CBD stores or hemp derived stores. It gets very complicated. The hemp derived versus THC versus traditional cannabis. So it's really interesting. Each state has a different program. But what I would say this about cannabis PR people, Michael, is I think a lot of PR people get into it because they think it's cool and fun and it's weed and like, let's go. So I do say that, but it's harder than hell. It's really hard because of the topic, because of, it's, when it comes down to it, it's just another business. So it's like pitching,
And
like
when you do pitch,
equipment. Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
avoid like I mean, listen, if you're pitching to publications that cover PR as a genre,
Yeah.
then like okay, that's fine. But when you're pitching
Yes.
to like some bigger publications, how do
Yes.
you kind of circumvent? How do you kind of like ease into the conversation without getting like a negative response?
Yeah. Really,
I'm
really
asking
good.
for the secret sauce, Kim.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. I wish there was really a secret sauce. But basically, it's really traditional that way. It's just developing relationship,
Right.
stalking the reporter, becoming, liking the reporter's stories, reading the reporter's stories, figuring out how your client ties in with the story,
Right.
hopefully meeting them at a conference, inviting them on a panel. So it's really traditional that way, even
Mm.
for mainstream, just really. developing relationship and building trust with that reporter. And pretty soon, then when the opportunity comes up for them to cover a cannabis story, they think of you, you know?
Right, right.
So it's really traditional that way.
And do you see yourself veering out of the industry? I mean, like, being a good PR agent is being a good PR agent. Do you feel like maybe like just focusing on cannabis is constraining in any capacity?
Yes, it's constraining. Yes, if I could admit it. I'm
Yeah,
like, what the hell did I get out of tech for? I should have,
right.
yeah,
But like,
exactly.
why not do both? Is it kind of like where it's like, if you dilute yourself down, you're gonna get much less of everything kind of thing?
Well, in my opinion, having a specialty does pay off. Uh,
Right.
Being a specialist, you get paid more. Bottom line, you get paid more because you have people who want your skill set. They want to
Mm,
move quickly. Like if you're launching in cannabis, you want a cannabis PR firm to really help you launch quickly.
mm,
But I'm with you. Like we're actually actively like um we're going to put together a tech event because Arizona's having a tech week in April 2026. So we actually, this is so silly. We have a haunted house that we've been working on just because they were referred to us. And, like, why not? It's a haunted house. Let's have some fun. So we're definitely open to other industries. When, when we got in 2014, it was such a great ride, Michael. I will say this. It was such a great ride to work with these entrepreneurs, these visionaries, these people who would be willing to break outside the mold and speak about the benefits of cannabis. It was such a thrill. But then I did see a lot of people coming in the industry who didn't know anything about the industry. All of a sudden, they'd been in it 6 months and they were like, I'm a cannabis expert. And so it kind of got convoluted.
mm.
And then I may say, and this is where I'm so old school, um, just because you smoke pot doesn't make you a good candidate for the industry. So we were
Right.
seeing a lot of that too. Like, oh, I'm a really popular stoner and I'm pretty hot and I think I'd make a great marketing manager,
Right.
It
It's
was like
like,
that kind of thing.
right. Like, you don't need to be a smoker to sell cigarettes. I guess that's
Right.
a horrible analogy because I wouldn't
But
compare
yeah,
cigarettes to
but
pot, but,
yeah, yeah,
that's the point. Like, you don't have to
yeah,
do it to
yeah, yeah,
be good at selling it.
yeah,
Right. 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 All very interesting
yeah,
stuff. Kim, so,
yeah.
how could people reach out to you and how can people get in touch?
Yeah, they can, give me drop me, they can call me. My number's on most of all of our press releases. They can write me at kim@provenmedia.com. Reach out to me. I love mentoring people, helping, young adults. I don't know. I'm all about sharing the knowledge. When I was younger, I used to like hold it really tight and I didn't want anybody to know. Now I'm like, hell, just
That's pretty
ask,
common in the PR industry. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm nothing. I am my connections, and
yeah,
it's a short stop from there.
yeah, yeah,
Interesting. Well,
yeah, yeah.
I like your energy. I like your
Thank
perspective.
you. Thank you.
It's been an honest pleasure to talk to you, Kim.
Thank
And
you, Michael.
yeah, I look forward
Cool,
to
cool.
seeing where your journey takes you.
Thank you. Vice versa. Thank you so much.
All right.